Well, today is March 12th, and it is Art and Found Day. If you go to artandfoundday.com, there's a whole story behind it. It's not something I created, but you see that painting back there? I'm going to give that one away today. I'm going to hide it someplace, and somebody's going to find it. And I'll leave hints on Facebook, so probably it's gone by the time you see this video. Anyway, today's video is about this painting. The little girl blowing bubbles. And it definitely looks like it could be from a children's book. So, let me show you how I did that. Okay? And go hide some art someplace. It doesn't have to be today. But check out that website. It's kind of a cool story behind it. And why it's March 12th. It's the young lady who started it. It was her father's birthday. All right, let me show you how I painted this card. Okay, so let's just get started. I know you've seen the intro, and I've hopefully explained in the intro how this is gonna go. So this, I don't know if this is gonna be simple or not. I think the reason I wanted to do a child blowing bubbles is because bubbles seem to be a challenge, I think. Not just the bubble itself, but also the progression of the bubble from the wand, from the wand. Not to mention the hand holding the bubble wand. So I'm going to sketch it first, and I think what I'll do is I'll try to make it mostly about the subject. Like the last picture I did, I had the subject very small, and this time I just want to make, hopefully I could do a child, the look of a child. A child has a small nose normally. So there's my small nose. And they usually have their lips pursed if they're blowing bubbles, right? So, be like this. Almost like they're whistling. I don't know if you can tell it in the little sketch I'm doing. And then the little chin. They usually have a little tiny chin, little children. And their jaw goes back, their eyes are big. I didn't get their eyes yet, but so there we go. A little hair, back of the head. I think we got a good outline for the child. And put a little tiny neck. They got a little delicate neck. Okay. Yeah. So this is not yet a boy, nor is it a girl yet. I don't know what I want here. I guess I'll just see what happens here. Let me put a shirt here. Put the little arm. I'm going to put the hand. We want the wand right here. We want the wand right there. So that's going to be the wand. And then the stem of the wand. And then they have the wands different today than they did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the wand was in the bottle. Now the wand is like attached to the cap of the bottle. So I hope I get this, the way the hand is holding it right. I think the hand would be kind of trying to imagine how this might look. That finger would be wrapped around it, and that finger would be wrapped around it. Let's see. I gotta look at my own hand to decide if it's the right hand. So the thumb would be on this side. So the thumb is probably hidden. Oh, I hope I got this right. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I got it right or not. And then the arm let's see, they're twisted at the wrist, I would say. What do you think? Did I get it right? Did I make it too small? I think the hand is too small. Let me start over again. That's why I have an eraser. I think I made it too small. I'm trying to think. You try to imagine the hand. I don't have a child here. Let me look at little Owen. Little Owen is Robin's grandson. So let me look at his face here. So his face is that big. And his hand, if he stretched out his hand, it would be 2/3. So maybe his hand is about from the hairline to his chin. If he stretched out his fingers. All right, well, thank you, Owen. So here's the hairline to the chin. So you don't think it would be that big, do you? So the hairline to the chin, about that much. So about that much. Doesn't that sound weird? It would be that big, but it probably would be, right? From there to there, it's about the same. However, the hand is folded, holding the wand. So let me make the wand a little bit bigger than I did before, and the stem a little bit bigger, and now the cap, something to grab onto, a little bit bigger. And if the fingers up, let's see, it goes from here to here. So let's say from here, oh, let's do it this way. From the tip of the pencil to there. Tip of the pencil to there. That would be the hand. But the hand is, the fingers are bent, so let me pull it down a little bit. And go to about here, right? There to there. And then there to there. Wait. There to there. Wow. Okay, but the fingers are bent, so put it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put it down to there. So I almost had it right the first time, I guess. I don't know. It looked a little small to me. Okay, so there's going to be that finger. We're going to have this finger. Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think in this case it sort of does have to be perfect. Yeah, it's got to be pretty close to how it really would look. So I need to go get a photo of a child blowing bubbles. I haven't really watched a child blowing bubbles in a long time. You see them at the beach all the time, but usually at the beach they have those big wands, you know, that make the big bubbles. So this is the back of the hand. And this would go this way, and then it would curve in. The hand always tapers. One of the cool ways to learn how to draw hands, well, the first way is to draw hands. Just study hands, look at hands. Yeah, that's the first way. But there's a second way I want to suggest. The second way is to look at cartoon hands. Not necessarily like Mickey Mouse, because Mickey Mouse has a definite look to his hands. But if you look at some cartoons, especially like some of the cartoons that are, I guess you would say, more realistic looking, you know, some of those have, and I don't have an example, so I can't even give you a B-roll on what I'm talking about. But when I played music, well, I still play music, but when I was a young I took accordion lessons when I was a kid, so I'll tell you that part. So my music teacher told me one time that he felt like the best music was in cartoons. So isn't it funny that now I'm telling you that some of the best reference photos for hands are cartoons? I'm kind of saying the same thing he said all those years ago. I took music lessons in the 1960s. Yes, that's why I'm a Poppa, because I'm really old. I'm not really old, I guess. It depends on how old you are. But I'm really old to my grandson. I'm sure I am. Anyway, back to the back to the idea that you can use cartoons as a reference for certain body styles. You know, probably it would be true for a lot of the different physiques. If you look at some of the Disney, no, not Mickey Mouse, but like the Beauty and the Beast kind of drawings. And okay, I don't know how I did this right or not. Would the hand be bent that much? That's a bent hand right there. I don't think so. I think I got that wrong too. And we don't want to make it that bent. Anyway, sorry I'm taking so long with the sketch here today. Okay, let's just say that goes this way. This has to attach here, and this is going to be tapered. All fingers taper down to the middle, or to the hand. They're skinnier at the top than they are at the bottom. And little children's hands, they're all different. So I'm sorry, I went on a tangent again. All right, have it there, and there, and come in. That looks more natural. That looks more natural, because there's a thumb hidden over here somewhere. Not sure I like that yet, but we'll see. And of course the arm tapers down. Let's put the sleeve of the shirt right there, because the arm tapers also. Just a little bit of an angle there. Hope I did that right. I think you got the idea of the cartoons as reference. Truthfully, though, there are so many things that you can use nowadays to study how hands look and how faces look and how. And you can look at some videos and they will give you like these rules of thumb, like this, from this point to this point it's halfway, from this point to this point it's, you know, one third, and you can draw a face that way and it will look like a face. But trust me, I did a lot of quick sketches that had to look like the person in like the theme parks, or in the resorts near the theme parks here in Florida. And they had to look like the person. You just couldn't get away with it being close. So you had to study everything. So the rule of thumb, when they say the eyes are halfway between the chin and the head, it's a really good rule of thumb. But you got to look carefully, and the best way to look carefully is two things. Let me tell you this. I have a little bit of experience from having done so many sketches, portraits, you know, quick sketch portraits at the Disney area and Universal Studios. So if I could show you this. So hold your paper, or have your paper in front of you, so that the person you're looking at is right next to the paper. Then you can kind of use, you can say, well, there's the eyes, and there's, and then put these tiny little lines on the paper that help you understand where everything is. That's the first thing. Just get them where they need to be. That's all. Okay, I'm trying to get the look here of the lips. And then the eyes of a child, it's a rule of thumb, but it's not always true. The eyes of a child are about the same size as they will be when that child grows up. I know that sounds weird, but look at the picture of a photograph of a child with an adult. I don't think I have one laying here, but the eyes are usually the same size as the adult. No, I don't have one here. Yes, I do. I do have one here. All right, let's show you. All right, this is me and my grandson and my son. Now take a look at this. I know it's very, very hard, but there to there, that's his eyes. Same thing as mine, you see? A child's eyes are really the same size as an adult's eyes. The cheeks get bigger. Mine got really big. The head is smaller, you see, but the eyes are the same size. That's why children's eyes look so big. I guess we're made with eyes the same size as we have when we grow up. I could be wrong about that. But anyway. All right, how's that sketch looking? That's looking all right now. Huh? Yeah, so there are some rules of thumb that work, but the best way to do a likeness is to study the one thing you're looking at, the person, not some rule of thumb you learned in art class. And the same thing is true with perspectives. I know when you learn perspective in art class, they tell you that there's a vanishing point, and there is a vanishing point, and it works really, really well when you're creating pictures. However, every single building, like say, for example, in a city, every single building is not angled the same way. So you can't put every building on that same line. Besides which, if there's a hill in the road, a slight hill, it'll change so much. So you really truly, it's not that the way they teach it in art school, in art class, they teach it that the horizon, well, let me say it again, the vanishing point dictates where everything goes. The truth is, everything dictates where the vanishing point is. It's the opposite. So you look at a building, you look how buildings are all straight lines, and we know that. So you got the parallel and the horizontal. But one building may not have the same vanishing point as the next. I am absolutely, you can try this yourself. If you go to a town where every single building is straight, every single building is parallel, every single building is horizontal, well, they're all horizontal and parallel. That's a given, because mankind likes to build things that way. But we don't all put the building in the same spot. We don't all put the building at the same angle. And anyway, that's enough of that. Just trust me on that one. The rule of thumb for faces and the rule of thumb for vanishing points. Oh, wait, that's a better way of doing that. Okay. I saw that one little thing I liked, just to straighten that edge there. And then I think I like his hand better. Actually, I think I'm going to make it a her. I'm going to make it a girl because it'll be easier to paint, I think. Give it long hair. I don't know. Let me see. All right, now getting back to the size of the eyes. Maybe the child isn't even bright-eyed here. Yeah, maybe the eyes are squinted here. That's not a bad idea. Make it look squinted. The ears are usually right about here. I do think I'm going to make this a girl. It'll be a lot easier just to give long hair. So excuse me for changing my mind about this child. But just make it one of those long-haired pretty girls. Yeah, she's still got that long curl thing going on. maybe it hangs over her shoulders like that. So that way I don't even have to worry about the ear. Sorry, I'm cheating. Here it goes behind the ear. Wait, maybe I do want the ear. Make a little bit of an ear there. Yeah, maybe I do want the ear there. Let me get rid of some of that hair on the face. No, I think I'll get rid of the ear. I think I kind of like it flowing like that. Like she's got curls. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that ear again. Alright. Get rid of the shoulders, get rid of all that sketch. Yeah, it's like, that's kind of cute, I guess. Right? What do you think? Oh, it's taken me a long time to get just the little girl in here. There we go. And it looks like she's blowing, so she got a little bit of a puffy cheek there. A little bit. I think her chin is a little bit too small. The one thing I love about putting people in pictures is that it tells a story of some sort. It gives an emotional feeling. I know landscapes do that too, even without people in them, or dogs, or animals in general. But there is a feeling, a different feeling, when you have people in a picture. All right, now her lips are right there, so that needs to be a little bit bigger, that one. I'm just going to make it bigger, because I want it to be right there in the middle. Her breath goes right there. All right, kids. Took all that time to do that, 21 minutes to do that. Plus I was chatting with you a lot. So let's put some bubbles here. Just some round circles. Now I have to have these because the white paper, this is watercolor, so the white paper sort of has to be left white for a lot of these bubbles. And we'll make them dark later, but the edges have to be white. I put one over here, and now over here, this is the challenge. I got to get the bubbles that are coming off of the bubble wand. They're not together yet. They're forming bubbles. Bubbles is a very scientific thing to study too. Try to figure out how they happen, because bubbles happen in nature all the time. Wait, that looks pretty good. It looks like it's blowing through. Okay. Here. All right. Now I do think that the other part of what I need to do here, let me get rid of some of these pencil lines, because we want to make sure the paint does the job, not the pencil. But another thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that the make her hairline a little bit lower. Got to make sure that the background is dark. Okay. All right, well, let's get started now. With the paint, finally, right? Finally, we get to the paint. 24 minutes into the video. We're finally getting to the paint. Let me first lay down some color on her. I don't know what color. I'm going to use the back of the paper as a palette. Look at that, I'm using dirty water. So that's okay. Dirty water sometimes works out well. Alright, so let me get some. Let me just try a couple different colors. That's not a bad one. See, I'm using the Winsor Newton again. I love Winsor Newton. That's a little bit too dark, I think. I'm trying to get a good skin tone here. A little bit yellow. Okay, let's get her nose first. Let that dry. Because she would have like shadows on her face from the sun, like she'd backlit a little bit. I'm going to try to make that look, but then she also has the shadows on this side too. So I'm using that water up there. Just getting that water in there. Keep that white a little bit right there. Very much drawing with paint. See if we can get her arms. Well, that's a little too dark, isn't it? Get some more yellow in there. Some more orange in there. It's hard to get the right tone sometimes. Just keep working it till you like it. Okay, let's get her arm. The back of her hand. I think these fingers would be lit more on the top. Yeah, alright, here we go. Let's get a little bit more dark under her neck. Side of her nose. Around her eyes. You know, the thing is this, you could change your mind about the direction of the sunlight, but it's not always easy. So if you feel like you got it wrong, then you can just make the whole thing wrong, and then it looks right. I think that's what I'm doing. I made the whole thing wrong. The light's coming from the wrong angle, but I think as long as I keep it all coming from the same angle, like in this case, I got light coming up from the bottom. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think it'll look right as long as I just do the whole picture that way. There we go. I keep her a little bit light right there. So today is March 12th. By the way, and today is somebody there's a whole story behind Art and Found Day. I don't know if you ever were familiar with it, but Art and Found Day is the day where you hide art someplace in your community, and you package it so that people are not afraid, so they know what it is. And a lot of people know what Art and Found Day is in our community. Robin and I kind of introduced it to our community, but we didn't start it. We had the radio show, so we talked about it, and local artists started doing it, and they just hide art in the park and in different places. Just don't put it someplace where people are going to be frightened. I see a package that was just left there, and you label it. It says something like, "Congratulations, you just found a free piece of art. Take care of it. It's now your baby," whatever. And so I got. Speaking of babies, the art I'm leaving today is a picture of two babies. Making the wand here. Let's see. She's holding that cap. Yeah, so I'm leaving a picture of two babies that were at the beach in Daytona. I took a photo of them while I was sitting there, but I was so far away, so I didn't really get to see what they look like, but I used that photo as a reference just for the pose mostly. They don't look like the actual babies. There's no way I could see them. But this is just two babies. There's a black baby and a white baby. And I thought, those two babies don't even know anything about race. And that's a beautiful thing. Just being happy and playing in the water and just enjoying the day together. I'm not sure what I think about those hands. Let me work on them as I get the background in there. Alright, what about her hair? Just gonna kind of swish it around. We'll see what it does. We'll see if it takes a life of its own. I gotta be careful not to get over to her face because it's still wet. I think in this picture, the landscape behind her is going to be the easier part. I hope it is. So I'm just kind of brushing it in and letting the darks and the lights kind of dictate what I'm going to do with her hair. Just kind of laid it in there and let it dry. We'll see what it does. Maybe a little bit of darkness down here. Yeah, I did a little bit too close to that wet face right there, but I think it's working. Can you see what I'm doing with my hand in the way? Yeah, this is one thing I like about watercolor, is the way watercolor looks when it dries. It has that very cool look. Like that on the side of her hair here. You can see a little bit on that side of her face. The brush I'm using is a very skinny brush. Very tapered at the front of it. See it. And all right, now let's get her shirt. I'm not done with the hair yet, but let me get the brush clean. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'll make that work later on. That blotch on the back of the card. Right now I just want to get some very, very light blue. Oh, that's blue-green. Don't want that. Let's see, this is the blue here. Yeah, I want that very light blue to be the shadows of the shirt. And then we'll darken it as we go along. So, actually, you know what? Some purple might not be a bad idea. Yeah, purple's a better idea as a shadow. And the shirt, of course, has... There we go, get that purple in there. There we go. A little bit of the sense of folds in the sleeve, folds in the fabric. All right, now we got to think about the background. There's a lot on here that I have not finished yet on the girl. However, those bubbles are key to this picture, as you can tell, as you know. Let me get some of this face back to where it should be, because when it dried it kind of changed the look. You gotta be careful that you're not picking it up, because I am picking it up right now, not laying it down. I want to be laying it down. I might need to wait for it to dry more. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, I'll let that dry. There we go. We gotta let that dry. Spread it out a little bit more. All right, what should we do with the background? I think it should be blurry. I do think it should be blurry, so let me just have some fun with this. I'm going to put just some water down. I have dirty water. I don't want to get it in the bubbles yet. I'll do that later. Right now I want to put it around the bubbles. All I'm doing is painting water now. There we go. Make sure the face isn't wet on her. I'm going to go right up to her face. We want that background. We just want everything wet up against her. It's hard for you to tell where the water is, I think, because it's probably not the correct angle, but in order for me to see the water, I have to kind of angle my head so that I can see the reflections off of the light. So I do have a little bit of an advantage right now over the camera. Just trying to get everything wet. Everything except for the bubbles and the girl. Well, not everything, just everything up to the horizon, which I'm guessing is right about there, so we'll put it there. Because then below the horizon will be a different look, I guess. We're making it up as we go along. Okay, almost got it all done as far as making it wet. So on YouTube, they call, I think, if I looked at it right, they call these things that I'm doing here podcasts, right? So I'm from the world of radio, and a podcast to me was always an audio thing, but they're calling these podcasts. So I kind of am doing a podcast, if you think about it, because I'm talking to you. I decided to talk instead of playing music. Well, sometimes I still do that, put music on behind it. But the way I looked at it was this. I don't want to be necessarily the next great art teacher, the next Bob Ross or whatever. You know, those guys really know what they're doing. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I'm honestly making it up as I go along. All right, so what should we do here? I have this up here that I could bring down. Should I do that? Should I make the sky like almost like a brownish gray and bring it down into the picture? That way the back of the card looks like it's connected to the front when you open it up. Let me see if that works. Let me add some gray to it. Yes, maybe it's a less than perfect day, but we'll add some blue anyway. I think I want blue. And it's a dirty, cloudy day. It's got the Sahara. There we go. It's got that Sahara dust that they always talk about in the news. And Sahara dust is coming over from the Sahara Desert. I don't remember hearing that when I was a kid, but I guess we didn't know. Meteorologists didn't always know that dust could actually fly across the Atlantic Ocean and end up in our backyards. Well, I suppose it goes both ways then, right? Well, it probably always goes the same direction, but wouldn't it make sense then that the sun, what am I trying to say here? That the water, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to paint and talk at the same time. Wouldn't that make sense that the desert, like in Arizona, wouldn't it make sense that that sand also gets carried away? Or how about like the sand in Daytona at the beach? Doesn't that also fly into the air and go to far and distant places? Okay, I want this to be very, very mixed here. I kind of want the blue to be a little bit lighter here, I think. Or the sky, I mean. Maybe behind her is where the sun is coming from. Like I said before, if I make a mistake, just make, as far as the lighting goes, just take that same mistake and make it everywhere. But the background does need to be darker than the edge of the bubbles. So, now I did say I wanted it to be out of focus a little bit, so we just add the sense of maybe some trees there. Well, you can tell I'm making this up as I go. You ever hear those kids on YouTube or sometimes in the streets, if you're in a big city, and they're going freestyle, and they're doing their rap thing with their freestyle, and they're making stuff up on the spot? That is incredible. I don't even know that I could begin to do that. I could make up a story on the spot. That would be, but I'm talking about like rhyming things and I don't know, just it's pretty incredible. They call it freestyle, I think. See, I'm old, but I'm not out of touch. I kind of am out of touch, to be honest with you. Alright, we want this girl's hand. Remember, this girl's got some pencil marks on her that I kind of hope I can erase later on. And maybe I'll need to use some gouache to accentuate the white, maybe even on the bubbles. I'm not sure. Right now I'm just going to try my best to do it all with watercolor. Whoops. Made a mistake there. She's blowing bubbles. It is truly a visual that is evocative, is that the word, of springtime. It evokes the sense that it's time to get out and play. You know, you're not in your winter clothes anymore. You're not bound up by the snow, although we love when that happens too. I think one of the cool things about the seasons is the seasons, the fact that they change, the fact that everything changes. So little by little, our girl is coming together. Our picture is coming together, I should say. Let me spread some of that. Kind of doesn't make sense right now, but that's okay. We'll just call that the abstract part of the picture. That's just the abstract. That's the abstract part. I do want to blend the two though somehow. Even though it's going to be folded and you won't see it. Alright, let's take this blue again, maybe some of that purple, or that red, whatever color I just picked up there. Spread it around a little bit. I kind of want a light area right there. I want her hair to be a little bit backlit over here. Just adding some blue so I can spread it around. I don't want it as dark as it is, although you never know. Maybe at the end of it it's going to be dark. What is this color? What is this color? Sometimes I can't tell. Oh, that's a green. I thought it was green. Okay. Sorry, my stomach is talking. Must be breakfast time. Alright, so now I'm trying to create this illusion of the background here. It's just something back here. Put some horizontal lines that don't necessarily mean anything. They're just there. Just the sense of sorry. My hand doesn't know where to go. I don't want it to dry too quickly. I just want to have a little bit of sense of rolling hills or something in the background. Let the watercolor work for me. Okay. Let me get some more dark in there. Again, I want her some undefined, out of focus things happening behind her. Now, if we were doing gouache completely, we could paint over it and plan it that way. But when you're doing watercolor, you kind of have to think in terms of where you want the white to be coming from. You see what down here the water's dry, the paper's dry, and so it's not behaving exactly as it would if it was wet. And I'm kind of wishing I had made it wet. But anyway, I'm just trying to keep some, like I say, out of focus, but still giving the illusion of a hill maybe. I'll put some trees or something in there just to, I don't know, maybe I won't, maybe I will. Right now it's still looking, to me, on the cartoon side of things, it still looks it looks like an illustration from a children's book, which is okay. That's what I kind of like doing that anyway. I've done a lot of them. I'm still working on one for the pastor and his wife. Yeah, I'm probably going to add some gouache to highlight some of the areas. But you see this girl, and she's got her hair's in the dark end too. I want her hair to be darker than what I did. Let me add a few of that, let them dry before I get back to it. Oops, that's a little bit too much. I watched a little bit of the Academy Awards yesterday. I didn't see them live, but I watched some clips on YouTube. Whoops, there's a hair there. We don't want that hair there. And there's some movies I didn't even know about. So that's kind of cool, because then I could go to Netflix or whatever and say, where's that movie? What's that movie called? And then sometimes you find out that you can't watch them on Netflix. You got to pay extra for them or something. So it depends on how much they're asking. I will sometimes pay the $2.99 or whatever to rent it. And I saw that Taylor Swift has her concert tour on Disney Plus. I don't have Disney Plus. I got Disney Plus once. It was okay, but I got it for Hamilton. I wanted to see Hamilton. I heard so many good things about Hamilton, and Hamilton was great. I loved Hamilton. But I really wasn't a good Disney Plus customer. I don't have any children in the house, and Robert and I, we decided, well, it was great for Hamilton, but we don't have a need to be watching Disney films all the time. But Hamilton was outstanding, and so I'm guessing that Taylor Swift's concert would be perhaps a temptation to try to justify paying for 1 month or whatever. I don't know. Do you guys do that? Do you ever pay for just 1 month of something and then cancel it right away? That's kind of what I do. I don't know if the there's so many TV choices. This is the problem. When we were kids, we had 3 channels, and you never had to pay for any of them. They always had ads. So it's a little bit different. The world is way different now. All right, now I gotta see some of this area on her face where the watercolor did what watercolor does. I like when watercolor does what it does. But when it comes to the face, I like it to be a little bit more controllable. All right. Now let's get some more dark stuff down here. Let me just get this whole area wet. I'm almost up to 55 minutes already on this video. I thought this was going to be a quick one. I guess I guessed wrong. Well, I took a long time just drawing the girl, right? And I still got those bubbles to deal with. Oh, yeah. Alright, so let me just add some darkness down here. It probably wouldn't hurt to put a few vertical lines here and there. Let's see, show some trees in the distance or something. Again, let's keep them out of focus. They're not focused. Just vertical horizon elements. Vertical, right? That's the word, vertical horizon element. VHE. We call them VHE. Vertical horizon elements. Put some over there, behind her head. Whoa, that's really dark. But that's okay, because maybe I want the contrast behind her. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'll make it tall or whatever it is. A tree or whatever. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Give it a little bit of space between her hair and whatever this is that I just accidentally undid. I didn't mean to do that, but it looks nice. Yeah, maybe that's just like really tall trees in the distance. Okay, some mid-ground here. Don't know what that would be. You never know. Maybe there's a body of water here or something. Let's get this coloring here. I'll just grab it and maybe a little bit of darkness here. Again, try to do that same trick we did on next to her hair. Make it a little bit lighter, right next to her arm. So once it dries, you can add the next layer to it to make it make sense. So when we hide the picture later on, I'll try to videotape what we're doing and then share it with you on here on the Poppa Paints channel. There we go. It's not too bad. It's kind of weird that there's a different color over there, so I gotta try to bring some of that over here. Back here. Get a little bit of yellow in there. Yeah, I think the idea is to make the green all come together with lots of different shades of green, as is what happens in the real world. this back here, we probably need to define it a little bit better. Still too wet to really work, but just put some undefined shapes, things that seem out of focus. There we go. Let's bring some dark area down here. And of course we didn't define her face yet. We're going to do that a little bit. She has no real eyes yet, and no real mouth, and we'll take care of that in a little bit. Right now I'm just trying to create a composition of lights and darks, and just kind of looking at it as I do it to see if I like it. These little things here. Alright, let the water go where it goes. Alright. The paper is getting really wet now. It's curling up. So I'm going to let that, let me get that darker right there. Behind her. So it's almost like she's standing in the shadow of a tree. I think that's how I'm going to imagine this. She's standing in the shadow of a tree while she's blowing bubbles in the field. Let's just hope this comes out. Okay, now the bubbles themselves. This is the challenge. Okay, I'm going to have to take, let me get the brush sort of clean. Smudge it on the back there. I'm going to try to use that same blue I used for the sky. I'm going to try to put it in the middle of these bubbles. Create the look, because the edges are white. And the blue is coming from the sky behind them. I'm going to make them at least as blue as the sky. It might require me erasing those pencil marks, probably will. And then we'll see how that works out. So the edges of the bubbles is where the light seems to collect. And then of course there's reflections in the bubbles. There's darker areas and lighter areas. Sometimes the bubble itself magnifies the image behind it. Here we go. Yeah, I think the image of a girl blowing bubbles is very, very good for a springtime picture, right? I did enough winter pictures. Holy cow. I felt like I was stuck in winter. I was doing so many winter pictures. But I'm in Florida, so it's weird. I'd be doing the winter pictures, and then I'd go outside and it wouldn't be cold at all. I was stuck in winter. Okay, we don't want lines really, we just want areas of dark and light. And I think the blue is a good choice here, up against the sky. think it's working out nice. This is a good place for watercolor to do what watercolor does. It just kind of goes wherever it's wet. Very, very light. Maybe a little bit too blue too, huh? Maybe I can take some of this brown from the background and add it to it. Or put it around on the outside. That's not a bad idea. Make the sky behind it look a little bit more intense. Yeah, let that water do what the water does. The water is what makes this bubble look like a bubble. Just keep that white area very slim. A little bit more. Spreading that blue around a little bit more. I'm going to try to add a little purple to this. See if that's not a mistake. Just a little bit, just kind of dab it in there. That way I can put it into the bubble. Make it a little bit more contrasted. Yeah, I think that helps. Again, let the water do what it does. Let it flow. Yeah, I think that purple's working nicely here. Wow. I hope you can tell that this isn't planned out. I hope you can tell. And I hope that you share with me the same feeling when you're doing your art that I'm expressing now. Is that sometimes the art itself is incredibly self-creative in a way. I mean, it's directed by you, but it's a little bit unpredictable, and if it is predictable, then I guess a good example of a real predictable art is a portrait, because you sort of know it's going to look like that person, you know. But if you're just coming up with like when you write a song, you know, oh, I'm going to write a song about loves and doves and aboves, and you have these words that you think you like using a rhyming dictionary, and you say, okay, well, my whole song is like this, and it's got C, D, and G. You got the 3 chords, and you don't allow any room for unpredictability. Unpredictability is sometimes a really good thing. That's why it's a little bit good advice, I think, to stay away from some of the programs that people use, templates and etc. In music and in art and in any creative endeavor. I mean, how many of you cook? That's a culinary art, right? So in culinary art, do you ever just like, whoa, let me add a little bit more paprika, or a little bit more cayenne pepper, or a little bit more sherry, a little bit more alcohol, a little bit more wine, and let it kind of be a discovery. I guess with cooking, you have to, if you want to recreate, like if you make a dish for something and everybody loves it, you got to recreate it. So at least with art, you don't have to recreate it. Well, maybe you do sometimes. Well, you do if you have a book assignment. Yes, you do. The editor will say, oh, I like this, but can you do it this way? Oh, okay. Well, that's why. Like if you're doing illustration, I mean, you can do watercolor like this, or you can do watercolor on a digital platform like Photoshop or something. And don't think for a second Photoshop is cheating. No, it's not. Photoshop and Procreate are both great tools for an artist, as well as great tools for somebody who is not an artist, who wants to do something artistic. Sometimes nothing wrong with that either. All right. I think I like the way that looks now, the way the bubbles look and the way the colors are kind of blending together, and how she's got the hair going on there. So I think now it's time to figure out how to finish it. Let's see, I've been going an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 17 minutes, right? Oh, 71 minutes. So it's an hour and 11 minutes, okay. I'm trying to look at my timer on my phone, my camera. All right, a couple of things here. Maybe she's got some grass here going on here. Something here. I'm going to take the brush now, very carefully create her eye. We already decided in the beginning we were going to keep it kind of shut. Just the eyelashes is all we need to see. Get some of that color from down here. An eyebrow up here. Little eyebrow. And I think her lips should be a dark red. Let's see if I got that here. Just a little bit of dark red. Very, very little. Just a little bit. Very little. Almost can't see it, but you can see it. Okay. Let's smush this around a little bit. We want that line. We want the edge of her hand to be lit. So I'm going to take some of these colors and darken them over here. Go up to her like that. So these are kind of undefined, out of focus things happening in the background. Even our trees have disappeared. Try to bring them back. Try to make everything a little bit darker behind her to create that backlit look. some horizontal lines here that don't really mean anything. They're just there. Just a thing to connect something to something else. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. All right, let's get another run through on her eyes, make them a little bit darker. Oh my God. Okay. Oh. Okay. A little bit more depth, I think, to her shaded areas on her face. Here we go. Let's do the same thing with her arm. And her fingers. I like the way that the darkness on her skin brought it out. Brought a lot of that out. All right, let me go for this. All right, let me smudge that up a little bit. Don't know what this is. I just wanted something darker, so I went for the wine-colored purple, or whatever you call that. Just gonna bring it over here. I just want something to, again, make her skin backlit. Make it darker back there than it is. Make it pop out a little bit. Maybe you could see some darkness between her fingers. Get some water in there. I don't want that to be a distraction right there. Some water in the sky right there. Right, this red I put over here needs to be dealt with. It's just not right. Needs to be spread out because I'm not clear what it is. I think what it should be is just like shadows, and maybe I can use the gouache to add some flowers to this picture. That's probably what needs to happen. Need to have some flowers going on here, some bright colors. I'm not sure if I like her hair exactly the way it is, but it's okay. I like that watercolor look anyway. I like the way it blends right there. Whoops, sorry. I hit the camera. Alright, let's go back some of these things in the distance. Let's put some more of those trees back there. They kind of disappeared. They don't have to be trees, they just need to be something in the back. Yeah, kind of like that. That's working out nice. As a way to contrast it with the bubbles. Have some trees that are just behind the bubbles. Couple of little specks. See if this works out. I might regret doing this. No, that looks alright. That looks alright. Alright, well, let's put these trees. Let's continue that tree line from the distance. Continue making a tree line. It would be a great way to contrast her with the back. It's okay to experiment. It's hard to undo an experiment, though, with watercolor. Well, the way to undo it if you really mess up is to use gouache. It's probably still an option for me. I'm probably still going to use gouache to, yeah, I kind of like that. She's like at a campground or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. She's at a campground somewhere blowing bubbles. Told you I'm making it up as I go along here. I don't know what I'm doing. It'd be a cool way to write a children's book, wouldn't it? To do the pictures first and then make up a story that goes with it. There. That looks pretty good. She's got trees behind her. She's at a campsite. I don't know where the camping part, I don't know if that's obvious or not, but okay. Maybe anything a little bit darker here. We can take the dirty water, make her shirt a little bit darker, and take that violet that I used. No, not that one. Which color did I use before? This one? I can't remember what I used. Let me use the napkin. I don't want to mess up the well. Oh, there it goes. No, we don't want that. Oh my gosh. I told you it's going to be an abstract background. There's no rhyme or reason for this background here. But where was which one was the purple I used? Was it this one? Was it this one? That's blue. Well, which one was the purple? Oh, well. You know what I'll do? I'll just mix it up back here, and then I'll bring it down here. This is what I want to do anyway. I just want to sharpen some of these shadows on her shirt. Give the shirt a little bit of a pop. Looks like it's brighter on the edges. Yeah, so I'll just take from there. I'm going to fold the card anyway. There's an artsy background. There's an abstract back of the card. There we go. Well, I like the way it looks. I do think I could do better with the highlights on her nose, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with gouache. So fortunately, I have gouache. Now the gouache I have is right there, you see? It dried, so I'm going to reactivate it with water. Get it pretty thick on the brush. Now I'm going to try to put a tiny little line right there on her nose, right there on her lip, right there on her bottom lip. right there on her chin. Okay, and then over here on her finger, up the side of her arm, over here on this finger, and the top of this finger here. Bring the light this way, and let's get this side of her arm also a little bit lit. We'll try to cover up that pencil mark on the sleeve, and kind of like that. The only other thing I can do now, I'm going to try to, here, I have some other gouache here, I have some red, so I'm going to take that red gouache, I'm going to add a few flowers or something here in the foreground, some yellow. If I mix yellow and red, it'll be orange, so let me just get a little bit of that, make it orangish, put some flowers in here. They're just there. They're not really part of the story being told. Although, here's some of that, like orangish yellow that I had from yesterday. Let me mix it with some white. Just kind of place it in there in places. Yeah, that looks nice. Now it looks like there's some, maybe she's in a field with some flowers here. Oh, that's working out good. Yeah, that red wasn't quite bright enough. Oh, but the pink comes out nice. There we go. So she's got some flowers around her. She's not just in a campground. She's now in a field of flowers, and things are happening around her. You get a little bit more white on the brush. Yeah. They make them a little bit bigger, some of them. All right, what do you think? I don't know if I consider it done, but we've been talking for an hour and a half, painting for an hour and a half. I think I'll call it done. Can you see it? Okay. Well, it is what it is. It's an experiment in a sort of a way. All right. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll fold it up and I'll show you. All right. See you later.